Next, I would like to invite Yatooma, who is also running for Secretary of State up. Let's hear from her and give her a nice round of applause.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, everybody. Yatooma, running for Secretary of State. I don't know if I have Mike's energy, but I'm going to try my very best. So, show of hands, how many delegates do we have in the room? We have awesome. Yes. So I'm a delegate too. I've been there for a long time in Oakland County, where I sit on the executive committee, and last year I had the super awesome privilege and honor of being a national delegate to the RNC for Trump. I'm a first generation Iraqi American, born and raised in Southeast Michigan. My parents came here and, just wanted to achieve the American dream. They did that and then passed that down to me and my sisters. And at the young age of 26, I was able to start my own company. It's a medical waste management company. We operate statewide with several hundred clients and employees under our belt. And so running my own business has taught me a lot of things. I know how to fix inefficiencies, prevent and detect fraud, manage people, build really awesome teams. But also in my industry, compliance is a top priority. And that's something that's really important to take into the Secretary of State's office, because I'm sure, as you all know, compliance is something that we're not seeing here today in the Secretary of State's office. And so I've also noticed that our state, local, and our federal officials, they're just not held to the same standards that we are as citizens and as business owners. Because if I had done just a fraction of the things that Jocelyn Benson has done, I would be fined, and I would probably be in jail right now. So I think that's unacceptable. And so it's one of the reasons that I decided to run. So in 2020, I was upset, like a lot of you, over the election, and that's really when I became politically charged. I was the parent in Oakland County that led the charge and filed a lawsuit against the mask mandates for the kids. That lawsuit was successful, and what a lot of people don't know is that subsequently the rest of the counties in the state followed, and the mask mandates were dropped. So I thought I was done from there, but unfortunately in 22, as you all know, the Democrats took a trifecta, and there was a blue sweep across Michigan. So I realized my work wasn't done, because while somebody like me might have access to financial and legal resources to protect me and my family, I realized the average family across the state doesn't have that kind of access. So I took the attorneys from our lawsuit, and I started the Great Education Initiative. It's a 501c3. Poured some money into it, went out and raised a bunch of money, because specifically, I saw a huge gap in school board races. The GOP wasn't helping. Consultants don't want to touch school board races because there's no money to be made in those races. So I went out, raised the money, and built the operation, and we helped parents take back their local school board races and take back local control of their children's education. That year, when there was a blue sweep, we had our hand in about 75 school board races. We won the majority of them, especially in really purple districts where everything else around us went blue. Now, fast forward to 24, I started GEI's sister organization, Great Education Action. So we used the C3 to do voter education and a lot of nonprofit work in different areas, but the C4 was to get politically charged. So we were doing a lot of voter education, a lot of voter registration. We were hiring phone bankers across the state and a lot of door knockers to help take back the state house. And of course, win the state for Trump. In doing that, we were very successful. We ran a highly sophisticated early vote operation in 24, and it was, we pulled data from clerks all across the state. We built relationships with these clerks, but unintentionally, looking at these voter lists and voter rolls, I saw a lot of issues in Michigan's election system. So in a lot of the bigger counties, especially counties like Macomb, we saw in 24 that every single voter had the same voter ID. So if every voter has the same voter ID, you can't audit the election. The election is not secure. We saw missing ballot tracking numbers, ballot ID numbers, and as voters were returning their absentee ballots, the return date field was blank. You didn't even know when they were returning those ballots. So it's impossible to audit the election or even say that it was transparent or secure. But what that did was give me insight into the issues that needed to be addressed and fixed with the election system. Now in 24, using the C4, we played a key role in helping Republicans take back the state house. I'm Middle Eastern, I'm of Chaldean descent. I don't think you guys have a lot of Chaldeans up here, but we have a ton in Oakland and Macomb and Wayne. So we're super conservative, but our voter turnout very low. It sits at about 32%. So I made that one of my projects, and it was kind of a test that I ran, so I went out, raised some money. And we did a lot of voter education, and I stationed people in churches everywhere to register Chaldean voters to get the voter count up. So we took that 32% voter turnout in the Calhoun community, and it went all the way up to 74% for the 24 election. It was huge for Michal, and that was huge for Trump. And it helped us in 24 to take back the Republican state house. Now, we were successful in doing that because I was able to go out and raise money and build the necessary, have the necessary relationship building skills to go out and do all that. And so I just share all that with you because I want you to know it's the same skill set that I'm going to bring to the Secretary of State race, because fundraising is going to be critical for this race. And we're going to have the necessary resources in place both before the convention and during the general election, and have the operation in place to win. So because of my experience with C3s and C4s and what we did in 24, I'm the only candidate in the race currently having conversations with very large organizations from across the country, and especially in DC, but also large donors, to help us here in Michigan in 26, because Trump is not on the ballot. There's not going to be money trickled and poured in the way it was in 24. So we need candidates that can go out and bring that to the table, not just for me to run for SOS, but to elect conservative candidates up and down the ballot. But all that to say, we went out and did all that work, and I realized that it was a complete waste of time because, not a complete waste of time, excuse me, I take that back. What I realized is that in doing all that work, if we really wanted to secure Michigan's future, but really protect our kids, we have to secure Michigan's elections. Because we're spinning our wheels, if we're doing all this work, but then getting to the ballot box, and pardon my French, but we're getting screwed in the ballot box. So just like I did the GEI, I see a problem that I know I can fix, and I'm not afraid to step up and fix it. So we'll talk about what that looks like. First and foremost, we're going to take Michigan out of ERIC. It's the Electronic Reporting Information Center designed to clean up voter rolls, but instead Democrats are hijacking the data and using it for partisan purposes. So Michigan will be out day one. We also need to clean up our voter rolls. So like Gretchen Whitmer says, fix the damn roads. We need to fix the damn rules. And one way that we can do that is by cross-checking with a federal database like the Department of Homeland Security to clean up those rules. We need to secure our absentee ballots. They need to be cleaned, we need to be checked, logged, verified at every single transfer. Okay, we need to ensure signature verification on every single ballot. I know that's common sense. It's just not common sense right now for Jocelyn Benson, but we'll change that when we get in there. Number 3, because of what happened in 2020, I wanted to establish a poll challenger and campaign bill of rights for all our election workers, so that they have, is that for me? Okay. We're going to do that. We're going to clean up Michigan's campaign finance reporting system. It's a waste of $9 million taxpayer dollars. Replace something more transparent, user-friendly, but also an SOS office. More same-day appointments, more access to online tools. We're also going to streamline SOS transactions. So when you make an appointment, we're going to make sure communication is clear with text messaging and emails, so you know what to bring with you to the Secretary of State's office. And as your next Secretary of State, I'm going to make sure that all instructions given to election officials are actually lawful and not unlawful like what we're seeing with today. So, very easy. I wanted to restore transparency, integrity, and trust back into our elections, back into our Secretary of State's office. I hope to earn all of your support tonight. I'm here to answer any questions if you need me. Thank you for your time. Sorry I went over. God bless.